So now I want to pivot here a little bit because I want to talk about um, collectors, more about collectors now, and see if we could draw some comparisons or maybe some differences between watch collecting and coin collecting, and maybe get a better, a better picture about them both. So one thing about watch collecting that I could tell you for me, and I'll just speak for myself, and maybe others who collect watches could feel the same way, is that we collect what we want, or what we like, knowing that, I mean, I think most of us know it, and I know it, that it is a depreciating value, that 99.99999% of the watches out there, just like a car, lose value as soon as you go on the street. You get that very rare few watches that will actually increase in value. Um, we kind of secretly wish that all our watches went up in value, but it's not the case. So there are some collectors who collect with that specifically in mind, that they see it as an investment. Most of us don't. It's not that way necessarily with coin collecting, right? I mean, like, doesn't everything kind of go up eventually?
Um,
Maybe at different levels, but
it's tough. Look, we don't sell any coins as investments. I know a lot of people look at them as investments. We tell all of our clients, these are
mm,
collectibles. We all want them to go up, and oftentimes they can go up. But if you're looking to make an investment, call your broker or your
right.
financial advisor. But that being said, some people do very well. I found in the long term, most of the people who buy stuff just to try and buy an investment, they just kind of go in willy nilly and just spend money, and they don't do as well. I find that the people who do the best are people who are true collectors, who are kind of building towards something. They're being a little more patient with what they buy. They're building a knowledge of what they're buying. And those people over time tend to do better. They tend to, be more patient and get things that are more rare. They're more patient to wait for the higher quality. So it's a little bit of a sensitive subject because, so many people do try and come into coin collecting as an investment.
Right.
And I always tell people, it's not an investment.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do make a lot of money,
Yeah.
but it's a long-term thing. People who come in and think they're going to buy something this year and sell it for twice as much next year, it just doesn't happen. Like,
Right.
it's so unusual. Like, sometimes, if you're really on top of things, like once in a while, the mint will have some special release that sells out right away. And if you're able to be one of the people who can call into the mint or get through the website in the first, 20 minutes, you can sell it quickly at a premium, but that's not, that doesn't happen that often. And that's not collecting. But I do know collectors who will do that. And then, like you said, parlay it into other,
Right.
you talked about earlier before we came on the air about getting watches and parlaying into buying other watches and
Hmm.
stuff,
Hmm.
same kind of thing. Um, it depends. And, like right now with the economy kind of being, you know, who knows
Right.
actually, I don't want to say bad or good or it's like who knows what's gonna, you know when the stock market gets kind of uncertain, people always gravitate towards gold and silver. I mean, they've been used as money for thousands of years. The first coins are about 700 BC, but gold and silver was being used as traded as currency, before that. So when things get kind of funny, people always gravitate towards precious metals as money, and that kind of lifts coins. Certain coins that are lower value, if the price of the intrinsic value of the underlying precious metal in the coin goes up more than what the coin is valued at before. Obviously, you buy a coin that has you buy a 1 ounce gold coin, say when gold is $1,200 an ounce, and you buy it for $1,600. Well, now gold's over 1,700 an ounce. Obviously, the coin's got to be worth
Right.
more than that.
Mhm.
So those kind of things go up, but then it also kind of gets gets kind of a wind behind it that pushes things too, because you get that kind of effect of just people becoming more aware of it and more interested in it. And they start seeing gold is going up. They start thinking, oh, maybe I'll buy some coins, and then they start collecting again. It's not
Hmm.
that they're not buying it for the precious metal, but when they see that it gets in the news and stuff, it just gets people re-interested in it. So things start to go up a little bit, but um, I don't know if it answers the question. It's a complicated
Yeah,
question.
sure.
It sounds different though, because I think with watches you're talking about primarily, buying new watches. You know, maybe you're not, but
Mhm.
yeah, I mean it's like buying anything new. Like a car, it
Yeah,
depreciates.
right.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean,
If
look, I
you're,
mean, you can buy vintage watches and think you're got a good deal, then try to sell it, and it's not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I mean, I think for anything that's a collectible, that's something that's vintage, for coins, and I'd imagine for watches, it's sure you can buy stuff, and I mean, I buy stuff and sell it for a profit, but I have a giant marketing team.
right.
It's it can be done, but you have to have vast contacts and
Yeah.
know where to find the stuff. It's
Right.
not it's not as easy as just going. If you think you're going to go buy something on eBay and then relist it in a week, you're going to be
Gotcha.
sadly disappointed.
Yeah, and yeah, very, 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 very similar. We're talking very similar here with watches. Now, there's also another phenomena. Well, it's not a phenomena, but it's kind of like a debate in the watch community. Do you go with volume, quantity over quality? Some collectors love collecting as many watches as they can.
Mhm.
Um, to them, I mean, I think to them they're buying quality, but some people who maybe have like a small collection will choose their watches more carefully, maybe a little bit more higher end. Is there such a thing in the collecting as quantity over quality, or as a type of collector out there, or does that not really?
No, absolutely. And again, I think it's like some of the things we've talked about already. It's there's so many kind of collectors. That's one of the beautiful things about collecting is if you want to buy bags of old silver coins, where you're getting $1,000, 4,000 quarters that are old worn out coins from the 60s and before. You could do that. I mean, and it's fun to search through looking for different dates for your album. Uh, that'll might increase in value if silver goes up enough. But you know, the again, the people who I see uh, who do end up make having collections that do increase in value, it's more buying less, but buying. There's always from what I've seen, people who want to buy the best.
Right.
So if you can afford something that's the finest known, or there's only a couple thousand or a couple hundred or less known, anything that has a real rarity to it or has a really quality that is unusual, there's always people who want the best. And the stuff that's kind of the more common, where you can buy thousands of them, there's buyers for that too. But then it really becomes a very price conscious one, type of a buyer, because it's if it's something where there's thousands available, you're going to go on eBay, and everybody's going to be trying to undercut the next guy for a nickel on what they sell it for. you
Right.
know so um there's definitely collectors who have massive quantity. I mean, I've gone to people's collectors' houses, who are trying to sell me collections, and it's just like unbelievable, just mess of stuff everywhere, like in drawers and
Right.
like under furniture. Um, but usually the collections that are I find most exciting, one of the best collections I ever dealt with. I went and picked up a collection that was uh, I think it definitely ended up being over $1 million, and it was like 14 coins,
Wow.
something like that. And then you have these coins that, I remember having a collection where it was like 60 something Rubbermaid tubs, and it was probably, you know, 30 grand, it's like,
Right. Right.
you know, so I think the people, if people are looking at it from you know, not even just as like, holding value or increasing value, because again, like I said, I don't even look at these as investments, but just as a more serious collector. I think you do yourself a favor by kind of buying the best you can afford. And that doesn't
Mhm.
mean like going, the best you can afford is very different for different people.
Right.
There's some guys it's a six-figure coin or six-figure watch, and for some guys
Oh,
it's a $300,
right.
item. But if your budget is $300, my recommendation would be don't go buy six $50 items. Like, be a little bit patient and buy that $300
See,
item.
so it's pretty much the same philosophy with
I would
watching.
imagine,
Yeah, yeah.
I would imagine.